Why, hello again, boys. Welcome back to another installment of my stories. Today, I shall talk about none other than another school camp that we went on, and one of the most beloved camps. I don't know, I mean, Aquatics camp was really good. Really good. Had some classic stitch-ups in there. It had all the bells and whistles. It had fun activities, classic stitch-ups, and drama. Had a bit of drama I didn't talk about, but, that Clash of Clan meme was the fucking zenith of comedy, so who gives a shit. Today I shall talk about my favourite camp, Work Ops Camp, which is short for Works Observation Camp, where we went down to Adelaide, where we were dragged across the ground by a rusty chain along to see various occupations and careers in various work environments. And it was quite fun until we were standing around in a hospital for 2 hours straight, looking at how they do centrifuges and things. And it was a good thing we were in a hospital then, because, you know, my legs were in need of surgery after that fucking escapade. But much like Aquatics Camp with its early morning surfing in super cold wetsuits, that was only the bad side of Work Ops Camp. Standing around for ages and having to write like a little report, which we didn't even do in the end. After every day. But the greatest thing about Work Ops Camp was the place we were staying. It was like this youth hotel kind of thing. We had 2 floors. It was like a 2-story building. Does that mean... Wait. It had a ground floor, a floor above that, and a floor above that. Is that 3-story or 2? It was a 3-story building. The second floor was the sickest fucking thing, because it was this big open area with Wi-Fi and a little chill movie area, and the second floor had like a chill quiet area that we hung out and watched videos in and talked, and there was like a canteen, vending machines, all this cool shit. And up on the second floor each, we got up into groups of 4, each of the people got into groups of 4, and we all had our own rooms. My group was the greatest group to ever have been conceived on planet Earth. We had me, Jacko, Hazza, and Beery. Now Beery is the missing link in our kind of friend circle that we had for Mally Chaps. He did leave after what, like grade 8, 7, 8. But yeah, it was. Yo, James, if you're listening to this, love you, man. Love you. And, a lot of these stories will be coming from him. Because, how about I just get the Beery stories over with first, shall I? So there we were, in our group, with the key to our new room. We enter. There's 2 bunk beds at, one end. A little, table, with like a little cupboard in. And there's like this cupboard wardrobe thing, big wardrobe, at the other end, the opposite side of the beds, next to the door. And, Beery looks at this, he's like, oh, sick! And then, like, his first instinct is to get in the cupboard. And there was, like, a big section on top, and then a little cupboard area, a little cupboard thing at the bottom. So he tries to squeeze into this, tiny cupboard at the bottom of the wardrobe, gets in, squeezes in butt first, squeezes himself into a ball, tries to jam himself in there as much as possible, and he just tries to shut the door on himself, and as he pulls the door, it's like... And just, the hinges just fucking snap. All the wood on the hinges side go flying around the room. And it just shatters. It's like the shittest chipboard, and it's just fucking obliterates the right side of the wardrobe. And he's like, oh fuck! And then we're all laughing at him, and he kind of shoves the cupboard door to back to where it was, with just this massive broken side where it's just kind of hanging off. And then we gather all the wood and kind of shove it in the cupboard. And then eventually Mr. Rankin comes in. He looks at the cupboard, and we go, yeah, that was like that when we got there. And he's like, oh yeah, right. Okay. And we could not believe it. He bought it. Yo, Mr. Rankin, if you're listening to this, we did break the fuck out of that wardrobe. Alright, the next story, we were all just chilling out in bed, trying to get to sleep, and we're just having a chit chat. Then, Barry brings up a story that he had from another camp that he went on a long time ago. And I've completely forgotten all the specifics he said about the story because it was so bullshit. But yeah, it was a long time ago, so I will get a lot of this wrong. He was in this long dorm area with his mates, and the kid next to him's like, "Yo, James, I just saw a fucking clown, man." And he's like, "What?" And then they look around, and he saw a clown right next to him, and then he blinked, and then it was gone. And they all freaked out because everyone saw it. Spooky as fuck. And then he's saying, this clown kills one person, one kid in Australia every year at a random date every year, but only starts in this December. I'll leave you guys to make sense of that because we were bullshitting him how bullshit this story was. Like, it doesn't make any sense. What do you mean starting this December? It's like, yeah, nah, but he's can't. Why the fuck should we be scared? Every year, a 1 in 23 million chance of dying. That's the same rate of dying to, like, influenza every year. Jack was legitimately getting freaked out by this story. He was like, oh man, don't wanna die, man, there's good clowns everywhere. Oh. Like, shut the fuck up, Beery. And then Beery tells Jack to shut the fuck up, and he says, wait, did you guys see that? We're like, fuck up, cunt. And he's like, no. He gets out of his bunk bed, and he creeps over to the broken wardrobe. Very slowly, we're all watching him tiptoe towards it. And as he gets closer, he gets slower and slower and slower. He opens the wardrobe, and he just lets out a fucking scream. He just goes, ah! 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 And Jack literally fucking shits the bed. He's feel him above me fucking jump. Full body jump out of bed. Yeah, he almost shat himself, and then Beery sprints back to bed, and we're like, fuck up, God, you gotta get us in trouble, man, you gotta wake everyone up, and Mr. Anchor's gonna come in here and fucking coon swing you. We had some good times with Beery, man. It's good shit. Godspeed. Okay, here's a stitch up of a story involving Ranko. Okay, so we were riding the bus on the way to the Army Reserve, and this truck in the other lane next to us is starting to overtake us. As the truck rolls by, the entire right side of the bus decides to do the pull the horn gesture at the truck driver, and the driver, being a mad lad, he goes ahead and as he honks his horn, Mr. Rankin absolutely shits himself. And as he realizes that it's all the kids that made the truck driver honk his horn rather than what he initially believed, which was he's about to fucking crash and die. He turns around and absolutely goes ballistic. Do you kids have any idea how dangerous that is? You know, he's right. Although a lot of it was fueled by how scared shitless he was, you know, he did have a point. But yeah, no, I can tell you what, that was a pretty silent bus ride. And when we arrived at the Army Reserve, they just told us that they need more women, and then we fucked off. Sure, having women's alright, but how she should have put it is that it would be nice to have women capable and willing to coon swing terrorists. Okay, now the final story, right? Jack had this dodgy phone emulator on his iPad, and he was talking to Grace, started to talk to Grace at 10 PM while we were all trying to go to sleep. And as I drift in and out of consciousness, I wake up at 12 AM, and I roll over, and Jack is still talking. And he's been keeping me awake for 2 hours. We need to get up early, man. So I was like, that's it. I get up, snatch his iPad out from under his face, because he was pretty much using it as a pillow. And I say into the iPad, Grace, just hang up. It is 12 AM and I need my big boy slips. Please hang up. Please just end it. Just say goodbye or whatever, alright? We got it? Yep, right? Cool. And then there was silence. I heard nothing. And I was like, alright. I must have turned off the iPad because I kept pressing all the buttons I could on the iPad. Nothing happened. Couldn't end the call from how it was locked, so I just assumed it was over. So threw the iPad across the room. It had a cover on, don't worry about it. And I went back to bed. 5 minutes later, we hear from across the room a hello? Fuck, man. And then I get up from my bed, grab the iPad, open the window, and we're on the third floor, and I hold the iPad out the window, and I'm like, Jack, tell me the fucking password, or I'm gonna drop this iPad. He's like, alright. He tells me the password. I open up the thing, I'm like, see ya, boop, end the call. and I went back to bed. I hope you enjoyed that story. That was pretty good. But yeah, that was pretty much the gist of Work Ops Camp. We I mean, we did other stuff like cool trampoline, playground place, and overdosing on Beery's puffer. But other than that, we had a pretty good time. It was pretty alright. So yeah, that's the story. I'll give it another 10 seconds to end. I hope you enjoyed.